Continuing with our series on what it means to individuals and organizations to be working in a dispersed mode, my colleague Shiv and I, Chitra, share some thoughts and insights as we heard them from people whom we coach and others around us. I've included my views on what can be done in little ways to help find the light at the end of the tunnel and get through from where we are today. Listen on.
We normally talk about teams being cohesive, teams being self-organized, teams having a lot of freedom, experiment the autonomy. And they've also adopted different ways of working. The team is not co-located. But now in the current situation, they are in the same time zone, same city. The concept of people coming together, being co-located, is changing. The team is now dispersing. They're moving pretty much in their own directions like any normal dispersal. Now, how have you seen this disrupting the teams that you are associated with? And if it is not disrupting, then there are some things that we can learn. How have they retained cohesion in the team? And the second part is about how to handle at a team level as well as at an individual level. Work pretty much on your own but not alone kind of concept, right? How do you truly implement that?
So on the question of dispersal, the first thought that came to my mind was a biology lesson where we talked about dispersal of seeds, and it's a very natural phenomenon in the natural world. That said, we are also part of that world. But in this context, this dispersal or dispersed teams, at least to me, takes on a very different meaning right now. In fact, I want to call upon one distinction here. So prior to this outbreak or the pandemic as it's being called, teams were dispersed and they seem to be working cohesively, independently, and as self-managed teams. But now with this pandemic in the background, I am sensing that there is some change. It's not that many people have been able to articulate it. Few people have said that something is different in the environment. So just this morning when I was talking to one of the senior leaders at one of the organizations that I am coaching at, this person said, I'm sitting in front of the window in my room at home. I'm able to see the trees and buildings, but everything is so still and silent. So I'm wondering if everyone's okay. So is this a disruption? I feel it is. Over the past few days, I've heard from several people, friends, family, and folks within my professional network saying that, even in large organizations, although work from home had been tested as a one-off situation, perhaps in the context of business continuity planning or as a planned exercise on those lines, what they seem to be experiencing today is an understanding that this mode of working may need to continue for longer than expected. There doesn't appear to be an end date in sight. So the folks working to keep the infrastructure going are already experiencing situations where VPNs are going down. People are having to set up and deploy specific instances in the cloud where work from home can be enabled. So that's on the infrastructure side, and are having to constantly monitor these systems. On the other hand, there are a lot of people, in fact, in Bangalore, who call something like a PG accommodation tenement where 4 or 5 people bunk in together and stay. Now, when you go to that context, I actually heard another friend tell me that this is a small company, has about between 150 and 200 employees. They have nearly 50% of their workforce that's come from smaller cities, smaller towns. And these are the two primary ways in which they stay or places that they call home. So one concern that the CEO and COO have in their mind is usually these places are not adequately furnished. Perhaps there's just a few mattresses because people just need a place to go sleep in the night and then come back to work in the morning. So then what's happening to the ergonomics? Is the place a place that people can work from? Do they have adequate seating arrangements? Are they comfortable to work from home? That's one thing. Second thing is, do they even have adequate infrastructure? Just this morning, I heard that a couple of people actually are having a fight at their PG with the owner to get Wi-Fi up and working. And since there are several people in the PG that are struggling to access the Wi-Fi, bandwidth has become a constraint. And now they're worried, will I be able to submit my work on time? So in some, I get a sense that pressure is building up. So yes, in having heard these stories, I feel it is a disruption. What is it? And by the way, this is only with IT and tech companies or more knowledge worker related. I've even heard some stories from people in the manufacturing industry. How are these companies doing it? I think that is something that we can keep aside for another episode. But coming back to what is it that we can do? What is it that Dispersed Teams and can do at two levels, at a team level and at an individual level? I think at a team level, it is key that people hold each other. When I say hold each other, it's a combination of, listening carefully while each one is speaking, ensuring that everybody on a call speaks at least once. So for example, if someone didn't say anything, explicitly ask that individual a question. It could be related to the project. It could be related to how they're feeling, their well-being, anything, just to make sure that everybody on a call listens to each other or is there for each other. They could also set up, explicit time to brainstorm on what are the best ways forward and basically form a circle of trust in some sense, a virtual circle of trust, and hold each other. Doesn't matter who takes the initiative. Ideally, if leaders can do this and hold their teams together, I think that's great. I think a lot of people are also looking for assurance. While that may not come very easily in this context, if people can do it, please do so. Now, at an individual level, I think checking in with yourself every day is a good thing to do. When you wake up in the morning, acknowledge what is it that you are feeling, at least to yourself, and say, okay, I am not feeling okay today. And then let me see what I can do. And even if it's the one or two things that you can get done for the day, get that movement going or get that action going. It is helpful to sort of keep the ball rolling or keep a small momentum going forward, moving forward. So keeping up with the daily routine, whatever that might be. And I've found that this season here in Bangalore is a beautiful one. So if you live in an area where there are trees, you'll notice that fresh green leaves are out there. Mango trees are beginning to bear fruit. The famous jacaranda and tabubia, which are pink, lavender, and yellow color flowers, are in full bloom on the roads. So I think, for me at least, that's a positive sign. So I hope this is helpful.
Yes, Chitra. And the light at the end of the tunnel and the silver lining is also there. I think while we are all under stress, confused, not knowing how long this will last or what will turn out, I think it is very, very important to hold each other, like you said, create that virtual circle of trust. And we have to keep supporting each other. Stay home, stay safe. We'll get over this.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Please share your experiences on what's working and what's not. This way, we hope to help others and ourselves navigate this time in the best possible way. Do write to us with your insights and thoughts at podcasts@pm-powerconsulting.com.